guys, hi. If you're wondering what's behind me, it is my seahorse tank. I've been asked about 1,000,000 times to make a seahorse video, and I have said no about 1,000,000 times. I really don't think seahorses make good pets. If there was a pet, if there was an animal that I've ever regretted buying, it would be these seahorses. But I love them, but I hate owning them, but I love them. But I hate it, but I love it. It's kind of like becoming a mother. You know, you get this baby, and then you decide you don't really want the baby. You know, you go from having all this freedom and all of this time to do anything you want, and now you have a baby, and it just cries and needs food and poops. And, you know, it's too young to really give you anything in return for all that you're doing for it. You're not gonna go sell your baby, so I'm not gonna sell my seahorses because they're my babies. They give me nothing in return other than seeing them be happy, and I worry about them 24/7, but I'm not giving them back. Now that I have them, they're mine. But unlike children who grow, you know, turn 18 and move out, or stay in their parents' home and turn it into a zoo, these seahorses, I'm going to bury my children one day. I'm gonna outlive them and I'm gonna bury them, and then I'm moving on with my life. Anyway, today I'm gonna give you an intro on how to take care of these lovely creatures, and yeah. Kovu, do you ever stop running on your wheel while I'm filming? Oh. Hey Kovu, this is a cheese. I have an offering for cheese. Cheese? Kovu, say hi to cheese. Oh, you don't like cheese? Why don't you like cheese? What did he do to you? So for this first video about how to own seahorses, I'm not going to necessarily teach you what everything means. I'm just going to show you what I have in their tank and how I take care of them. So if you don't understand something I'm saying, I will make future videos that break down the whole process step by step. But this video is just what the basic requirements are for taking care of them, because there are some things that you can't skip out on, or you'll have a dead seahorse. So the first thing is for a tank. For one pair of seahorses, for 2 seahorses, you need a 30-gallon tank. Preferably you want one that is as tall as you can get, because they like it tall. This is a 46-gallon bow front tank, and it works pretty well because it's pretty thin, and it gives them a lot of room to go up and down, since seahorses do like to go up and down. Now for the tank, you're gonna need live rock, sand, preferably some macroalgae, good lighting, a heater, a protein skimmer, and a filtration system. In my opinion, a seahorse absolutely needs a protein skimmer because they are so sensitive to water quality. In addition to needing a protein skimmer, they also need RODI water. I would never ever keep a seahorse without RODI water. You are just asking to kill them. They are way too sensitive to handle just tap water with some conditioner in it. RODI water can be purchased at aquarium stores, or an RODI unit can be purchased for your home. RODI water is different from purified water. It's the next step. So instead of just listening to me talk and stay in one position for 1,000,000 minutes and getting bored, let me go ahead and show you around the tank. Okay. I do also think it's important to have a power head in the tank, just because seahorses are pretty messy eaters and you don't want there to be any still spots in the tank. Because if you have dead spots in the tank, that is going to be a place where nutrients and waste just build up. High ammonia, or actually any ammonia in your tank, can kill your seahorse. Seahorses are extremely sensitive to ammonia, and even 0.25 parts per million can kill your seahorse. This means you have to stay on top of your water quality, which means you absolutely need a test kit at home. You cannot not have a test kit for a seahorse tank. When it comes to tank mates for seahorses, there's really only a few things I would do. Mandarins make good tank mates, and also scooter blennies are perfectly fine. Other than that, I really wouldn't push it. Other people like to try to put clownfish and firefish and even chromis and other fish, but I really don't think that is good. I think seahorse only tanks are the safest way to go, especially if you're new to owning seahorses. I really wouldn't recommend putting anything in there, because any other kind of species introduced to a seahorse tank is an added risk for disease in seahorses and also competition for their food, and I just really would not recommend it. A lot of people try to say putting pipefish in a seahorse tank is a good idea. I actually think it's an awful idea, and I've done it before and I regretted it, and I put a stop to it. Mandarins are super pretty fish that actually do really well with seahorses because they eat copepods and similar things to a seahorse's diet. Now, the only problem is I would never put a mandarin in a tank that's under 6 months old. It needs to be an established tank, and it needs to have live copepods in it, because it is very hard to get a mandarin that will eat frozen food. My mandarin does eat frozen, but that does not mean that yours will. Seahorses need a lot of hitching posts in their tank. Basically, you need branched live rock or just even fake little ornaments that provide a good hitching post for them. I use a combination of things. I use the branched rock. I use the, I'm not feeding you, no, she thinks it's feeding time, that's why she's following my finger. I will use the fake decorations, I will use the branched rock, and I will use little toys like this. They love this bird toy so much. They are crazy about it. You just have to make sure it's, safe to put in the water and it won't release toxins. And lastly, my favorite thing to do in a seahorse tank is macroalgae. I don't have a lot in this tank because this tank is very new, but in my last tank it was just a macroalgae field, and I'm definitely aiming to get this tank back to that kind of state. When it comes to live rock, you want to have at least 1 pound per gallon. I think this is really important in a seahorse tank because you need to have as much filtration as possible, and live rock is going to act as a type of filtration for your tank. Now, for the protein skimmer, you have 2 options. You can either build a sump and put your protein skimmer in there, or you can get a hang-on back protein skimmer. Most hang-on back protein skimmers are going to be a little more problematic, and you really have to make sure that it is broken in before you put the seahorses in the tank. When a protein skimmer is brand new, it's going to have a break-in period. This break-in period can last as little as 3 days, others can last 2 weeks. Basically what it does is it's just establishing and getting started up. During this period, it is really highly likely for the protein skimmer to release things called macro bubbles. It's just tiny little pockets of air basically, and it releases it back into the water. The micro bubbles are extremely dangerous for them because they will breathe them in and they will get trapped inside of them and they can die. For both hang on back and in sump skimmers, all you do is you take the collection cup and clean it when it's full. You just empty all this nasty crap out. You just dump it down the drain and put it back in, and that's all that you have to do. If you're wondering where my other seahorse is, she's mad because it's really late at night and she wants to sleep, but I'm filming, and she's hiding back here. It's really hard to see her, but she's right there. She's grumpy right now. She's not in a good mood. It's late at night and the light's on, so she's a little pissy. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but please make sure you get your seahorses captive bred. Do not buy wild-caught seahorses. There's a few ways to know if they're captive bred. One, they're going to be a little more expensive than the wild-caught ones. 2, they're going to be young. So you're not going to find adult captive bred seahorses in stores unless it was from an owner surrendering them. If you see a lot of adult seahorses at a store and they're being sold as captive bred, I really would not trust that. If you buy a wild-caught seahorse, 1, they're going to be extremely prone to disease, and if you ever do add a captive bred seahorse, can give those diseases to the captive bred seahorse. And number 2, they most likely will not eat frozen food, or if they do, they could still revert back to rejecting frozen and only wanting live brine shrimp. And it's a lot harder to find live brine shrimp than it is to go buy frozen mysis shrimp. So seahorses have a very big appetite. I feed mine 3 times a day. So much feeding means I also have to do so much water changes. It also helps to have a cleanup crew. It helps somewhat with the waste problem, but you have to be very careful with what cleanup crew you choose. Snails are perfectly fine, and the only hermits I would put in the tank are the blue-legged hermits. They're the more docile of hermit crabs, and they're not going to pick at the seahorses and hurt them. Kind of like me, you have to be careful who you put around me because I'm really sensitive. I don't want to go into too much detail today about cycling a tank. I don't want to go into too much detail today about any of it. It was just going to be a fun video, because when I do too much education in one video, I turn into a zombie. Like, I just sit here and I spew facts, and it's so boring unless there's someone who really wants a seahorse watching. So I like to kind of divide up my videos, you know, put a little education in each of the series so you don't get bored to death by me, but you still learn and you still have fun. When I posted that video of feeding all my animals, people really resonated pretty deep with cheese. So yeah, let's go look at cheese, because everyone really likes cheese. Okay, so my camera's seconds away from dying, but let's go ahead and see if we can get Cheese to show his face. My friend abandoned all of my corals that I had him babysitting here, so they're all back now. Hey, Puffer, are you taking a nap on the bottom? Pufferfish is just chilling. There's the star. There's the reason I actually have any subscribers. It's you. You're the only reason people like me. Hello? I'm knocking. That's really rude. What are you thinking about? Give me a high five. High five. High five. High five. High five. Ow! He bit me. Thank you all guys so much for watching. Make sure to check my description for some links to some websites where you can get plants for 15% off using my discount code, and to my friend and I's website called My Pet World. It's a social media site for animal lovers. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe if you liked it and want to see more videos, because that's what liking and subscribing does. It helps me out a lot. Just a little click goes a long way. Thank you for the almost 300,000 subscribers. Thank y'all guys for being so awesome. I know y'all hate that I say y'all guys because it makes no sense, but I'm not gonna stop saying y'all guys because I am a very hardcore Texan. Watch my other videos. We're cool? Okay. Thanks.